Story number 1. I thought I was hearing my dad, but he died 11 years earlier. I'm not a storyteller. I'm a 38-year-old tech with bad knees and a bad habit of ignoring weird stuff until it punches me in the face. So believe me or don't. I won't be offended. But writing this feels better than keeping it in. Back in late 2019, I had a job in Selma. My company booked me at the St. James Hotel. I didn't think anything of it, just another historic southern hotel. That's probably more expensive than it should be. The hotel was pretty empty that night. Storm rolling in. Those long kind of storms that drag over the river and shake the windows like a fist. The lady at the front desk gave me the key to room 315. She hesitated, the way someone does right before telling you bad news, but then just handed it over without saying anything. I thought I misread her expression. I hadn't. The first weird thing happened before I even got to the room. The elevator was broken, so I took the stairs. The hallways were older than I expected, wallpaper peeling at some edges, carpet that had seen some things. Asterisk, I remember thinking it smelled like old cologne and mildew, but not in a gross way, more like stepping into someone's memory. As I got closer to my room, I heard humming, a low, steady hum. Not off a machine or AC, a man's hum, like someone trying to comfort themselves or keep a rhythm while working. And here's where I have to explain something. My dad used to hum like that when he was fixing the kitchen sink, when he was cleaning his truck, even when he was angry. He died in 2008. I froze outside. 315. The humming stopped instantly, like it heard me. I told myself it was another guest. Thin walls, normal hotel stuff. No big deal. I went inside and locked the door. Around midnight, the storm hit hard. Thunder rolled so loudly, the headboard rattled. Water smacked the balcony door. I couldn't sleep, so I sat at the little desk writing invoices. Then the humming started again, but this time it was in the room. It came from the corner near the balcony, slow, faint, rhythmic, exactly like my dad used to do when he was concentrating. I froze. I didn't turn around. I just listened, heartbeat in my throat. The hum grew louder, like someone was stepping closer behind me. I whispered, "Dad?" It stopped. Instantly, the room became dead quiet. I finally forced myself to turn. The corner was empty. I walked to the balcony door just to make sure. Locked curtains still. No wind inside. I sat back down, feeling stupid and shaky. But the worst thing wasn't the humming. It was what I heard next. A whisper, very soft, right behind my left shoulder. "Hey buddy." That's exactly what my dad said whenever he woke me up for school as a kid. Same tone, same warmth in the hay, same softness in the body. My heart dropped into my stomach so hard, I genuinely thought I was dying. I jumped up so fast, the chair fell over. No one there, but the room wasn't empty. And I don't mean that in a dramatic way. It genuinely felt like a person was standing right next to me. The air was pressured heavy, like someone breathing too close to your ear. I grabbed my keys and wallet and bolted. Didn't pack a thing. Didn't even turn off the lamp. This is where it gets worse and more personal. I ran down the stairs. When I reached the lobby, the front desk lady was there, half asleep with a book. She looked up and saw my face. She stood immediately. "You heard something?" she said. Not asked, said. I could barely talk. I managed something like my dad's voice humming. She let out a long breath and just nodded. Some people hear men's voices on that floor, especially people who've lost someone. And then she added, very quietly, they don't usually mean harm. They're just stuck in their moments. I started crying. I don't do that often, especially not in public. But hearing your dead father's voice in a dark hotel room while a storm shakes the windows, it hits something ancient in your brain. The woman offered me a room on the first floor. I declined and ended up sleeping in my truck. I've tried to rationalize this. Sleep paralysis, auditory hallucination, grief resurfacing in an old building, thunder messing with acoustics. But none of that explains how the voice sounded exactly like my dad, down to the warm rasp he had when he quit smoking, down to the way he said buddy, like I was still 6 years old in a Power Rangers t-shirt. I don't like admitting this, but part of me wonders, what if some places amplify the echoes we carry? What if grief leaves a footprint? And what if old buildings remember voices the way walls remember smoke? I haven't told my family because they'll think I'm losing it. But I'm telling you all here because someone else must have heard things in that hotel. And because sometimes, even after all these years, I still wake up hearing that hum. Something walked into my room and sat on the bed. Let me start by saying I'm a huge skeptic. I'm a nurse. I've worked night shift for 14 years. I've seen people hallucinate, ramble, scream, cry, die, and then breathe again. Nothing scares me because I've seen too much real life, but something at the St. James Hotel in Selma scared me in a way no night ever did. This was back in 2017. I was traveling for a nursing conference and got the room cheap. First mistake, I checked into room 306, dropped my bag, and immediately noticed this weird cold draft near the window. Old building, I thought. No big deal. Went out for dinner, came back around 9 p.m, and the whole hallway smelled faintly of lavender, like a grandmother's perfume. Not overpowering, just enough to make you notice. Didn't think much of it. At 2:40 a.m, I woke up suddenly. Not scared, not startled, just awake. The first thing I noticed was the cold. The room was freezing. I checked the thermostat. It was set to 72. No AC blowing. Then I saw the bed, not mine. The other bed. There were indentations on it, like someone had been sitting on the edge. Someone heavy. I sat up slowly, telling myself it was just the weight. Shifting old mattresses do that. Right then, the indent deepened right in front of me. Like someone had just sat down. I whispered, "Hello." And I swear to God the mattress shifted, as if someone leaned forward, elbows on knees. My whole body went numb. And then the lavender smell hit. Strong, overwhelming. It flooded the room like someone sprayed perfume right next to me. I scrambled for the lamp. It flickered when I turned it on, like something moved in front of it. That made my skin crawl. There was no figure, no outline, nothing visual. That almost made it worse, because you can close your eyes to avoid seeing something, but you can't close your skin. And I could feel someone in that room, not evil, not malicious, just unbearably sad. The air felt heavy, like the seconds were stretching. And then I heard it, a long, slow exhale, right beside my ear. Not cold, not warm, just there. That was enough. I grabbed my bag, threw on shoes without socks, and bolted. I didn't even zip the bag. I ran barefoot down the hall, heart pounding so hard my vision blurred. The hallway was pitch dark except for one wall sconce flickering, and that damn lavender smell followed me all the way to the elevator. I waited in the lobby until sunrise. The front desk attendant, older man. Sleepy eyes, didn't look surprised when I told him. He just said, "You were on the 3rd floor. She walks that floor most nights." He said it calmly, like he was telling me checkout time. This is the part that sticks with me most. The sadness. I've felt fear before. Real fear. But never this bone-deep sorrow that didn't belong to me. Like someone had opened their grief and pushed it into my chest. Even now, sometimes when I'm exhausted and my guard is down, I swear I feel a mattress sink next to me the same way. I know that sounds insane, but I've stopped trying to explain it away. Some things just stay with you. Story 3. I don't think I left the St. James alone. This is my first time posting anything like this. And honestly, I'm only doing it because I haven't slept more than 3 hours a night for almost a week. Something has been happening again, and it reminded me of what went down back in 2015 at the St. James Hotel in Selma, Alabama. I thought I was past it. I thought it stayed there. I was wrong. Let me start by saying this. I don't believe in ghosts. Or, well, I didn't. In 2015, I was doing contracting work for a telecom company, and they sent me to Selma for 3 days to fix an equipment issue. Asterisk. They booked me at the St. James because it was close to where I needed to work. I didn't care. I've slept in worse. I want to be clear about this. Nothing happened the first night. Asterisk, and that's important, because I want you to understand that what I experienced wasn't some imagination-fired panic attack. I slept fine the first night. I didn't even know the place was supposedly haunted until after everything happened. It was just an old hotel to me the second night. That's when it started. It was something small at first, something easy to ignore. Around 11 p.m., I was lying in bed scrolling my phone. The room was quiet except for the AC kicking on every now and then. Then I heard something like a knock, not on the door, not on the wall, on the inside of the bathroom, like someone tapping a fingernail on the mirror. 3 slow taps, pause, 3 more. It was so faint. I thought it was water dropping. I didn't even get up. I just ignored it and kept scrolling until I fell asleep. But at around 2:30 a.m., I woke up to this feeling, a heavy pressure on my chest, like when you have a nightmare and it feels like something is sitting on you. But I wasn't dreaming. I was wide awake. The room was freezing cold. The hallway light that usually leaked under the door wasn't there. Everything was pitch black. I reached over to the lamp and turned it on. It didn't turn on. Tried the other lamp. Nothing. The power was out, I guessed. Storm outside. Old building happens. But I still couldn't shake the feeling that someone was in the room. Not standing. Not moving. Just there watching. I didn't hear breathing. Didn't hear footsteps. But the air felt occupied. It felt like the moment before someone speaks. That inhale before a voice breaks the silence. I stayed still until eventually the AC kicked back on and the lamp flickered to life. As soon as the light came on, the pressure on my chest lifted. Not like a gradual easing, more like a sudden vacating. I didn't sleep again. The third night is the one that really messed me up. I came back from work around 7:30 p.m., ate some fast food, showered, and tried to unwind. Everything was normal until I noticed the bathroom door. It was open. I suppose the bathroom door, habit from living with roommates in college. I knew I had closed it earlier, but it was swung wide open. Again, nothing dramatic, just weird enough to make me feel uneasy. Around midnight, I was half asleep when something woke me. Not noise, not movement, just the feeling of being woken up by someone else in the room. I kept my eyes closed, hoping it was just my brain messing with me. Then the mattress dipped, the kind of dip that happens when a full-grown adult sits on the edge of the bed. Not a creak, not vibration, a literal shift of weight. My eyes flew open, and I swear on my mother's life, the right side of the mattress was lower, like someone's hip was pressing it down. The room was absolutely silent, but I could feel it. Someone was sitting there, facing me. Every instinct screamed at me not to look, not to acknowledge it. If you've ever been in a dangerous situation, like a car almost hitting you, or someone following you at night, you know that primal, absolute certainty that something is wrong. That's exactly what this was. I stayed frozen for maybe a full minute. The pressure on the bed didn't move. It didn't shift. It didn't fade. It was patient, like it was waiting for me to move first. When I finally couldn't take it anymore, I shot up and scrambled across the bed to the lamp. I swear, I felt air push against my back as I moved, the same sensation you get when someone walks past you too closely. The lamp turned on immediately, and the dip on the mattress rose, like someone standing up. No sound, no footsteps, just release. The air felt lighter, but the room didn't feel empty. It felt like whatever it was had stepped back, watching. I packed my stuff and left. I didn't care what time it was. I checked out at around 1 a.m. The poor night shift clerk just handed me the receipt without asking questions. I must have looked pale as hell. On the drive home the next morning, I convinced myself it was exhaustion, stress, sleep paralysis, something rational. I believed that for a long time, until last week, because it's happening again. At my house, the tapping, soft, rhythmic, like fingernails on glass, in my bathroom mirror. It happens around 2 a.m., the same time as the hotel. And last night, my bed dipped. The same way, same spot, right side. Near my legs, I turned on the lamp and watched it rise slowly, like someone standing up. It was slower this time, deliberate, like it wanted me to see it. And the worst part, I smelled something faint afterward. Not perfume, not flowers, just a cold, empty scent, like a closet that hasn't been opened in decades. I don't know what followed me from that hotel. I don't know why it waited 8 years. And I don't know what happens next. But I'm scared, in a way. I haven't been since that night in Selma. And I swear to God, I'm starting to think it never left. It was just waiting for me to stop pretending it wasn't real.